That open was so good, we had to do it twice, Thomas.
Yeah, that's
little
important.
remix. It was the remix version.
Well, I didn't mix it, so
I mixed it up. Is probably really what it comes down to. Last week, I'm glad we got past last week. We're on to this week. We got to do a lot better than we did last week, Thomas.
We sucked.
Yeah, that's probably about the right word. Maybe a little bit long, maybe a little bit more harsh than that, but I think we're a little out of form. We need to go to spring training ourselves. So we're going to go off to Sha Tin this week in Hong Kong for the Hong Kong Derby. How significant of a race is that in the Sha Tin schedule?
It's 2 million Hong Kong. So that's what, million something.
That's like 85 cents here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not chump change.
No, definitely.
And of course, theirs is different because it's for 4-year-olds and not for 3-year-olds. Because of the hemisphere thing.
So what do you mean by the hemisphere thing?
Well, the horses in Australia are older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're racing 2-year-olds now, but because they're folded earlier.
I see.
And so they, instead of doing a 3-year-old race, they do it for a 4-year-old. So there's a series in Hong Kong, similar to the Triple Crown, that is for 4-year-olds only.
Mm-hmm. And the Hong Kong Derby is part of that Hong Kongese Triple Crown.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So, well, the good news is we should get good weather there at Sha Tin. Right now, the turf course is listed as good. According to the weather forecast, going to be sunny there today, about 80 degrees. Sunday might be a little bit overcast, but it doesn't look like they're asking for rain on Sunday. Looks like maybe we'll see some rain there on Monday, but that won't come into play for us, Thomas, so we don't have to worry about that. So again, track is listed as good. All right, well, let's get started with our races then. What do you say?
That sounds good to me.
So race number 5 is where we're going to start, which is the Rapper Dragon Handicap. That one is going to be 6 furlongs on the main track there, I think, right? No, the turf course.
Turf course.
Yes. Yeah. And then 6 furlongs, if I remember correctly, is 1,200 meters. Is that right, Tom?
Yes, that is correct.
And they're going to come around there and they're going to finish there. So it looks pretty standard stuff like we do here, except maybe they run they run the same direction, no? No, they run backwards.
They run clockwise.
Yes, indeed. They absolutely run backwards over there. All right. So we see how they're going to run. The first race coming up, again, this one is the Rapper Dragon Handicap. It's going to kick off at approximately 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So when they start, Tom, let's see if, we don't really have any kind of.
Yeah, you do. You got the speed thing you can do. You're on the wrong one. You're not on the Hong Kong.
I'm not in the Hong Kong version. Yeah, I went off to Racing Post to see if indeed I could find the predictor, but they don't do the predictor there.
They have in the Hong Kong site. There is a speed map, and it also the speed map is on top, and then it gives you a description of each of the horses and their races, last 5 races. So you get what kind of trip they were in.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if I can pull it up real quickly while.
Well, I can start.
All right, so you get cracking, and I'll see if I can't find it real quick.
I'm going to take number 10, Victor the Winner, as my top choice. Has draw 2. This one's got tons and tons of speed and went wire to wire last time. Made an easy lead, helped, and it won by 4. Moves up in class, drops in weight, and gets the top rider on the grounds. so they want to win again. Wire to wire, right pace. I don't see a lot of speed in this race. That's why I think he can do it again. Number 2, Trillium Win is going to be my next choice. It has draw number 3. He just missed in his last 2 races by a head and by a neck. It seems this horse has been running a lot better when they added blinkers, and that seems to be a really good case. So you're going to move up a little bit in distance from 1,000 meters last time out, which is the straightaway at Sha Tin. But he has a good record of this distance. He's got 19 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds, and 3 thirds. He's going to be draws alongside my choice, and he's shown speed before. but he's been showing a little more, let's sit and wait. So I think he's going to sit and wait. And finally, I'm going to take number 6. Oriental Smoke is my final choice. It has the draw 11. The last race he ran okay, had some issues in the race, sat behind the leader, and it was asked to go, and he did, and it was okay. That was a 1,400 meter race, so he's dropping back down in distance to 1,200 meters. This last race was his best effort in a while, so maybe coming to form. At this distance, he's got 7 starts. He's got 4 wins in 1 second. I think the distance is right. I think the pace is good for him, and he's just got to overcome that 11 draw.
All right. So you mentioned the the speed map. So I was able to find him, Tom, and bring him up here. So let's pull up race number 6. It shows here that in the beginning, Victor the winner has very good early speed. So that's that 10 horse that you liked up there. Should be able to get access across and the lead on this field. Beauty Tycoon from the inside draw can get to the rail. Trillion win, but it does look like that 10 horse Victor the winner is going to be the one that they want to get to the front. Probably has a good shot to do that. So we'll see if indeed it can do what you think it's going to do, Thomas. For me and my picks in this first race, I'm going to start off with number 5, Packing the Treadmill there. The Packing Treadmill horse usually runs well following a workout, which it just recently had. And then it's been at this distance 6 times, won 4 of them with a second. I like Victor the winner as my second choice. This is an all or nothing type horse. It either wins 5 times out, 3 wins, but doesn't finish second or third. All those races have been at the track, at the distance, and at the surface. Won and improved in the only other second up that this horse had, like it's making today. Beauty Tycoon is my third horse. The most recent 6 furlong workout that it had was faster than most of its recent races. Indication that Beauty Tycoon could be ready to put a big race out on the track. And then finally, number 7, a Beauty Charge. This one here is going to likely improve in its second start after a layoff. Last time up was good enough in terms of its fractions and times to win here. So let's see if indeed it can do the same thing today. All right, so those are my picks. Let's look at race. I'm all confused now, Thomas. So you have to forgive me. So I have all sorts of things open in different places right now. Race number 6 is the Werther Handicap. Let me go over here to race number 6 so we can get rid of this stuff right now. The Werther Handicap, this one is 1 mile and 2 furlongs on the main track. So I'm going to guess that this one is 1 mile and 2 furlongs. I'm going to guess that's all the way back here, Tom, and they're going to come all the way around, or they're going to make multiple turns. At 2,000 meters, how many meters is this one?
2,000 meters starts in the middle.
Right here.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. It's going to come around, and so it's 2 full turns, more than 1 time around the track. And in that sort of race, Tom, what sort of horse are you looking for in terms of running style?
Come from behind.
Come from behind horse.
Mid-pack or come from behind is my preferred choices. But again, it depends on the pace of the race, which you've got to take a look at. In this race, you looked at number
the pace
8.
of the race. I got the pace of the race.
You got the speed map? Okay.
Yes, I have them. And I guess I'm confusing myself, but I have them. So it looks like Enjoying is going to get out to the front. The quartet of horses right behind it. Woodfire Bro. You got Can't Go Wong and You're Brilliant, along with Natural Storm. So it looks to me like you could have a little bit of early pace, although not a lot necessarily. So maybe those horses that get up to the front, they can do so and hang on with a good sort of pace, not going too fast. All right, so we're now in this race here. I hope race number. What race is this one? The Rapper Dragon. We already did that. So now we're in the Werther Handicap. All right, so this is where we are. Werther Handicap. Who do you got?
I'm going to take number 8. Co-partner Elite. It has draw 4. Just missed last time out, and that they made equipment change, which made the difference because he added blinkers. Sat behind the leaders and just missed by a neck. He's never won at this distance, but he's tried 3 times and he's finished second twice. And he also has not, I should point out, he's not won in Hong Kong, but he has won. I'm really going off the base off that last race and the closing kick. He just looks like he's ready to pop, and that's why I'm going to take him, put him on top. Number 1, 5G Patch will be my next choice as draw 3. It's 1 at this level, 2 starts back by half a length. Then it moved up in class, ran a third, but at a featherweight of 108 pounds. It had an apprentice on it. So now they're going to drop it back. Of course, they have to add weight, but they get Ryan Moore in the saddle. That can't hurt any. And so I think this horse is capable, again, hitting the board. He did it against theoretically better horses.
Are you talking about 5G Patch or Enjoying?
Pardon me? 5G Patch.
So it looks like it says that Ryan Moore is riding the 2-horse. Maybe they got that wrong here.
That's possible. No, I'm probably the one who's got it wrong. I'm not that. I had him on that one. I don't know. Maybe because I had an early edition, so maybe
they switched runners. Yeah, that's possible for sure.
That. And finally, I'm going to take number 13, Round the Earth, as draw 6. In the race that I think anything can happen in this race, this horse appears to be improving off his last 2 starts. Ran 4th, 2 back, and missed by a neck, and then then they took him over to Happy Valley, and he ran 8th, but he was 3 lengths back. So they're not losing by much. He's got 7 starts in Hong Kong, and the best he's ever done is 4th. But he has won races in other places, as they say. I looked it up. It was New Zealand. I just like those last 2 races, and I think there's enough to say that this horse may be coming to form, because prior to that, it's not done much of anything.
I like the 3-horse in here as my top pick, the Woodfire Bro. Last race was better than it looks on paper, because if you check out the fractions, they were a little bit faster than the previous race, and that's usually a sign to me of a horse that's getting better. Number 8, the one that you like there too, Co-Partner Elites. This one could be better in its second start off a layoff. At least that's what the resume says. Number 1, 5G Patch. My 3rd choice in here, Thomas. This one's probably going to be your favorite. I think there's a good shot that that'll be the case. But I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that it regressed in its last race. We'll need to bounce back here. And then finally,
it regressed, but it raced against better horses.
So maybe it put a little too much effort in.
I think, it may have been a little over his head at this point in his racing career.
So maybe a bounce back is in store come Sunday at approximately 3:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then my last pick is number 10. Can't Go Wong is the final choice for me. This one is going to be, I think, a bomb. Something like 50-1 maybe, it looked like in the early odds. Fractions at 1 mile last time out were approximately 2 seconds faster than the previous race. So it improved a lot from race to race. If it can continue moving up that improvement ladder, that's a pretty good shot, I think, Thomas, to come in at a price. Win? Nah. But can it catch a piece of the back end of gimmicks? I think it's very possible at a big number. Race number 7 is next up on our docket. This one is the 7-furlong Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup. 7 furlongs, Tom, is how many meters, my man? Is that going to be, let's see, 1,400
back in
meters?
The chute. On the
1,800?
Back in the chute.
So they're going to start back here, come around. Plenty of backstretch to work with. What do you think is going to happen in terms of racing style there? Which type wins?
Speed and closing. Just a matter of if California Spangle goes out too quick and somebody goes with it, which is certainly possible.
So you mentioned the speed
lone lead. The horse is going to try to beat him. He's going to have the kick to catch him, because he's going a little shorter race this time than he ran last out. And if he gets an easy lead, he could go all the way.
Yeah. So according to the speed map here, it does look like they expect California Spangle to take the usual role as the pacemaker and set up a good tempo. Waikuku has a good draw, kick it right in behind California Spangle. Lucky Swanies could be the next outside. Wellington can let the speed go and settle towards the back. And Courier Wonder should be way behind there and try to bring it in from the back.
They're just collecting a check with that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just getting that fifth place
I
money.
don't think it matches up with the rest of these horses.
All right, so let's see, who do you have in this race?
I did take California Spangle #1 as my top choice as draw one. It ran third last out at 1,600 meters, and it was a Group 1, and it got caught by Golden 60.
Good horse.
He's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He set the pace, and really what happened, nothing more. Golden 60 kicked in and went right by him. And in a short field like this, it's a little different type of race. And this is definitely a jockey's race. And this horse certainly has the capabilities of going wire to wire. He's run at this distance once in his career, and he won. So that's why I think he's got a great chance of doing wire to wire. And that number 4, Wakuku, withdraw 2. Yeah, he closes. Last out, he was running a little wide, and he got a little boxed and then got some trouble, but he was still good enough to get up for 4th. You go back, he's dropping back from 1,600 meters. He's got 6 starts, 4 wins, and 2/3. Let's face it, this horse has been banging horses with some of the best that are in Hong Kong. And last year it broke when Golden 60 was on 16 wins or whatever, 17 wins. Yeah, he beat him. So he's capable of stepping up in this company. I just think, I don't know if there's going to be enough for him to run at that if California Spangle is going to back up that badly. But I certainly think he can run the money. At Lucky Swayze's, I'm going to take withdraw 4. Last 2 starts are winning effort. He won a Group 3 handicap, and then he moved up to Group 1, and he beat Wellington at 1,200 meters. In both races, he's finished very strongly. He could threaten California Spangle in front, but if he does, then that may cook them both and set up for Wellington or Wakuku to win.
And the other ones are just for a check. Courier Wonder knows its role.
I don't, unless he was going to be a rabbit, and it doesn't have any common anything. I don't see that horse in this race. I had to throw one out, and Wellington became my one to throw. I think he's better at 6 than he is at 7. But we'll see.
So number 3, Lucky Swayze's. I think this one could be better in round 2 off the bench. But interestingly, at the 7 furlong, that quirk distance, this horse is 2 for 2. Likes the distance. I think it gets the job done here. California Spangle could be the favorite, probably going to be the favorite. Usually fades late, though, if you look through the past performances in races that are coming off of a layoff like today. Same goes for Wellington. It's another that usually doesn't win first after a workout. That's the case for Wellington. But I do think those 3 horses probably are the class. Wakuku would be my 4th pick, but I've only allowed 3 in a 5-horse race. So this one will go off at approximately 4 a.m. Eastern. And that is the prelude to the next race, Tom, which is the Hong Kong Derby. This one's 1.25 miles. I think 1.25 miles that's going to start back here. Going to make at least 1-2 full turns around the track, run more than once around the track. And last time we spoke, you had mentioned you felt like closers were the way to go at these longer distances at Sha Tin.
Yeah, and in this type of race for these 4-year-olds, I really think the closers are the ones to take a serious look at. And that's what I did.
And then as far as the early pace is concerned, now we kind of got this in order. It looks like Voyage Bubble is the one that should have the lead, but it looks like there's going to be plenty of competition. You got Touchel, Sweet Encounter, Keefe, Sword Point, Beautyverse, Encountered, a whole bunch of horses up front there. So maybe you'll find your group or your winner somewhere in the back at this group when they start at 4:40 a.m. Eastern time. You plan on being up at that time?
I was up today.
Yeah, so Tom will be, well, he's going to have his donuts on it, so you know he's going to go ahead and make some plays. This is a pretty good field. It looks like there's 14 horses in there, a couple alternative entries in case people scratch. So who do you like?
I took number 2, Beauty Internal. Has draw 7. He's undefeated at Hong Kong, and he's coming off the pace type. And he's won those races with some flair. I mean, and it's interesting in these races, he's been wide, he's had some traffic problems, and he still wins. His last race was a restricted 4-year-old race at 1,800 meters, and he won by half a length. And I should point out, this race, none of these horses have gone 1.25 miles. So very similar to the Kentucky Derby. Most of them have never been that distance. This is the case here. And I would be very surprised if the 2 is not the favorite.
Beauty Eternal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody else with the kind of record he's got. It's just a matter of can he get the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And he closes, and he's been doing well doing that. So that's why I put him on top. 8, Galaxy Witness, going to be my next choice, draw 3. He hasn't won this season, but he's been in the money 4 out of his 7 starts. His last race, he got a little wiped out and near the beginning, and then he was able to come from a really bad draw to get 3rd. I think this is a medium price, 10-1 maybe. I think he's just, one of those horses maybe sitting on a good race. And this is the perfect time because they're certainly running for some money.
This would be the time to show up for sure.
Finally, I'm going to take number 3. Super Sunny Sing has draw 9. This is like the top horse, one it's been winning and winning and winning. And he is one that comes from the back of the field. He's got when he's asked to quicken, he goes. Last time out at 1,800 meters, he was much the best. He was 7 lengths behind and won by half a length.
Yeah, I have that one there as my top pick, Thomas. I don't know. You freeze or did I freeze? One of us froze, I think. So Thomas may have froze. I like Super Sunny Sing as my top choice. Won 4 in a row. And I do feel like that the extra distance here will be a big benefit for that horse. Beauty Eternal is my next choice. That 2 horse in there. That's the one Tom pointed out as his top pick. Could be the favorite. It's run 5 times, 4 wins, and a 3rd. The only question for me is, can it handle the distance? Number 8, boy, Tom and I have a lot of commonality today. Again, that was not good for us last week, so hopefully it's better for us this week. Galaxy Witness is another that should benefit today from going a little bit longer than it has, as it's shown most of its best effort late in races. And then finally, number 6, Tuchel, which is the next pick for me. That one usually runs best after a workout, which is what is going to happen for this horse today. It's going to make its first start after a little bit of time in the bench. So I'm not sure. Thomas, are you with me now?
I'm here.
Yeah. Did you pause out for a moment there?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. All right, so Thomas is back.
Dropped right back in. I was a little weird.
Well, what's funny is because when there's only 2 of us, you can't tell which one who's glitching, right?
Yeah, I'm going to assume it was me, but you never know.
Yeah, you never can tell. All right, so that's the Hong Kong Derby, and then finally, race number 9 is the Luger Handicap. This one is 6 furlongs. It is a class 3 for 3-year-olds on the turf course as well. 6 furlongs. They're going to go here a little bit more than a half a turn around the track, going the wrong direction. Again, you feel like speed is the way to go on this sort of race shape. So let's see who those speed horses are in this race, Thomas, in the final race. Harmony in Blessed, Magnic, and Beauty Glory look like they are going to be the 3 quickest when the gates open. Tom, do you agree, disagree with that?
Yeah, and I think you'll see a bunch up towards the front. I don't see any lone horse cutting the 6 furlongs, I should say, at least the first half.
So there'll be plenty of company surprised
up there. The jump will be the key here, and getting their position quick.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I'm going to take number 12. Ina Fortune, his draw 7, is my top choice. If there is an unlucky horse in Hong Kong right now, this would be it. In the last 3 races, it's drawn number 12 post. Well, you want a handicap against you. Draw 12 3 times.
Yeah, that won't work.
In all those races, he's had some problems, and he still managed to close from pretty far back. His best finish was 4th. In that race, he lost by only 3/4 of a length, and he flew home at 20.78. The standard is usually 21, 22 for 6 furlongs.
Mhm.
So this horse absolutely was flying. Now, granted, that was 1,000 meters down, and it's a straightaway, but he's never won in Hong Kong, so this will be interesting to see what he can do here. He's got a better post position, and I think there's enough to suggest that staying out of some trouble, and that this horse will be closing at the end. Number 8, Brave Dreams, who has draw 10, is going to be Max choice. It's in form. It's got one last time out, and it's done well through its last 5 races. It's interesting. He's been out of those races that he was favorite 3 of the 5, and they're picking up on him, and he's getting some money, but not necessarily winning every time. Again, he's good for in a money run, and that's why I'm going to put him there if he stays like he is.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, Magniac.
Magniac?
Maniac? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Draw 12. Shown speed in his first 2 starts at Hong Kong and finished 3rd in his first race, and then ran 2nd in the last race. He does have 3 wins, so he has won, but he's never won in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And he unluckily drew that 12 post. So he's going to try for the lead. So the jockey's going to have to be really smart on this horse. Last time he got caught with the 50 meters to go. He runs out of gas. My top pick is going to fly by him. Otherwise, he's been running okay. Mm-hmm. So he can handle that 12 post. Could be interesting.
Well, you mentioned earlier that Zach Purton is the top jockey there, and he also rode the 8-horse Brave Dreams, and he got off Brave Dreams to stay on Magniac. To me, that's the tip of the cap or tip of the hand, which horse he thinks is a little bit better. So I'm going to put Magniac as my top choice, and I'm going to back the jockey making the horse switch. Number 4, Supreme Lucky, is my second choice. This is an all-or-nothing horse. It's either wins or it finishes off the board. Both wins in its 5 starts came following a barrier trial. So a little bit of a workout, a little bit of time off. First up, it won. That's the combination that we see today. Let's see if it unlocks the key to the winner's circle again. Number 9, Eternal Bloom, is my third choice. This is another horse that tends to run its best first up, like today. That's been when it's got most of its scores. And then finally, Brave Dreams, that 8-horse, the one that Zach Purton got off. Last time out, he improved its 6 furlong time by about a half a second. So it's interesting to me, really interesting to me, that the 8-horse Brave Dreams is improving, and then still the jockey gets off to ride the 5-horse. I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't have any connections with Zach Purton, but it would be interesting to ask him if if it was his choice, or if it was kind of like he's first up on the horse that he's chosen to ride today, or if he had an option in that race. We'll find out if he made the right choice at about 5:20 a.m. Eastern time, of which Tom will definitely be up because he was up well before that today. Any sense of what we'll be doing next week, Tom?
Yes. Oh, we've got Dubai and the Dubai World Cup. Country Grammar will be trying to defend his title because he won this race last year. He did run well at Saudi Arabia, but I want to point out something in the Saudi race when he finished 2nd. Where did the other 4 horses that finished in those positions come from?
That finished where?
Well, 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
1st, 3rd, 5th, and where did they come from? And I don't even remember, Tom. I'm going to guess they came from Japan. I don't know.
They did.
Oh, good call. Oh,
yeah. Well,
a lot of countries in the world that picked from, and they nail it. It's pretty good.
We will need to take a serious look at those Japanese horses that will be entered for this race. Because,
and also the
last
Breeders' Cup
one
later on in the year.
The Saudi one that went wire to wire. mile and eighth race. Country Grammar was closing strongly, but it was too late. So we'll see. And there are, of course, on that card a number of very valuable and rich races.
Oh yeah,
at over $1 million US. So yeah, there's a few bucks at stake there. And generally, I find that people here have a keen interest on Saturday to tune those races in.
Well, they do. So we'll make sure that we cover them top to bottom, Thomas. We'll get as many of them in there as we can. Maybe we'll extend it from 5 races to a few more. I'll leave that up to you because you're the one that sets the schedule for our foreign Fridays and the races.
Well, we'll definitely do all the stakes races.
And I just tag along and hope that I can make a few good picks along the way. Tomorrow, I'll try to make a few good picks with Terry. That'll be for Oaklawn Park. They got a couple of really nice stakes races and a kind of light stakes race weekend on the U.S. side of the world. But we'll be covering Oaklawn Park, 10 race card. That'll start probably about 15 minutes before post time. I'm going to try to move our selection shows a little bit closer to post time so that the information kind of lines up a little bit more real time. We'll be back on Monday, Terry and I, for Parks, Monday and Tuesday. And I think Charles will return on Wednesday.
Hopefully you have a little better luck than last Monday at Parks.
Yeah, well, Tuesday they got rained out. Monday we had a tough day. Yeah, it was a... Yeah, here's the thing. I've been really like spot on in my handicapping. I've got the right horses. I'm just not putting them in the right order in my tickets lately. And I've even been picking prices. Yesterday I had one Murder Hornet that, picked out of there, and it was like 16, 17 to 1. It won. It was my third pick. It didn't show well enough for me to put on my first pick, but to still have it in there, it won, and it did kind of what we thought it was going to do. It just didn't get the tickets right, and it's been kind of driving me bananas lately. But you keep getting the horses in the right positions, eventually you'll get the right tickets. One comes, usually one comes with the other. I've been kind of flirting with break even on our $100 challenges, just not having that big day where you can kind of cover the entire month of betting. So hopefully that comes Monday. Also very close to breaking out some new data, which I think will be very helpful. Got it finally pegged down yesterday. Now I just need to add it into when I do the simulations, and we'll be able to tell you which horses are likely to get a trip where they're comfortable with their positioning or not. So that'll be coming out hopefully maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to say 25% chance tomorrow that data comes out, but I think very confident we'll see it sometime next week, hopefully by Monday. If you're going to bet college basketball today, of course, you want to head off to the Picks with the Professor. There's a link in the description down below. He certainly, Professor Sides, uses his statistics PhD. I think he's got a PhD anyway, to go ahead and make some selections in college basketball. Off to a good start. A guaranteed tip sheet, of course, today, tomorrow, every day. There's some free racing, free picks over there. Links again in the description over at horseracingtoday.net. Please make sure you use those so they know where you're coming from. That kind of wraps us up for today. Thomas, any final thoughts before we get out of here and enjoy some Hong Kong and Oaklawn racing in the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think the Hong Kong card is an interesting card, and as we know, anything can happen there at times because the prices reflect that.
Mm-hmm. And just remember, if you win 1,300 Hong Kong dollars, it's not 1,300 American dollars. Been down that road before.
Not even close.
No, not even close. Unfortunately, you're like, yeah, and then you look, you're like, no. All right, anyway. All right,
but I will point out real quick.
Go ahead.
I was playing some Australian races during the week, and I played a horse that went off at 6 to 1 in Australia with the bookies there, and it went off at 30 to 1 here and won.
Nice.
So if you like Australian racing, sometimes the prices here are a lot different than what's there.
So on Wall Street, they would call that an arbitrage, right? So yes, take that 30 to 1 that the local folks thinks worth 6 to 1. All right, well, that wraps it up for today. We hope that no matter what happens today, that you do enjoy God's grace and that everything that you do ends up, Thomas, in one place, and that can only be
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at Oaklawn Park. Have a fantastic Friday.